Welcome back to another video, guys, and today we are going to be reacting to a couple of TikToks that will make you rethink your reality.
Control Malta, control the world. Malta is, for some reason, at the center of all of this stuff. As I was going through all of this information, I couldn't figure out why. The Ottoman Empire tried to take over Malta. They were basically undefeatable. The Knights of Malta are able to hold them off. Napoleon wants to take over Malta. Napoleon has basically taken over everything, gets his ass handed to him by the Brits. Fast forward to World War II, for some reason, the Germans are obsessed with Malta. They're trying to strengthen their own position in the war, but it all comes down to Malta. Malta ends up being the most bombed place in all of World War II. They must have lost 128 planes in a very, very short period of time. Control Malta, control the world. But why? What's actually there? Malta has some of the most ancient megalithic sites in all of the world. Something was there way before our civilization was. And the lore is that the Knights of Malta moved to this island and stored immense riches and artifacts beneath the tunnels of Malta. The Knights Templar also merged with the Knights of Malta at a time in the not-so-distant past, and the Knights were well known for hoarding their treasures. Were the Germans aware of this? I mean, this nutjob had his people all over the world looking for relics of power, riches, and scientific anomalies. This place had to have been more than a mere war strategy, but is it true?
Now what shall we do? Let us make our escape out of the kingdom.
Seafaring man.
Let us hail him.
Hail, Captain, hail.
Hello.
Is that your ship yonder?
It is.
Whither are you bound?
To Ethiopia.
Do you take passengers?
I do.
Will you take us?
I will, if you have King Solomon's pass.
We have no pass, but we have money, and we will pay you your demands.
And you cannot go, for I have strict orders not to take workmen from the temple out of the country unless express permission from King Solomon.
What shall we do?
Let us turn back into the country.
Agreed.
Most excellent King Solomon, the Grand Master Hieroglyph is missing.
Missing? How do you know to be missing?
You see the Grand Master Hieroglyph?
You seen the Grand Master Hieroglyph? Have you? Have you seen it?
No.
Have you seen the Grand Master Hieroglyph? Hail, brothers! Hail, brother! What discoveries have you made?
The earth has been recently removed.
It has the appearance of a grave. What causes confusion among the crowd?
Most excellent King Solomon, the fall tracks have returned.
Vatican secrets, ancient Roman cities of the dead. You know, this is pretty different than what I normally talk about, but it still somehow seems right up my alley. You can see here, Vatican opens ancient Roman necropolis to the public. A new entrance has been opened in the walls of the Vatican. It leads to a place called the Via Triumphalis Necropolis, which is an old Roman city for the dead. Now, for those who are unaware, necropolis were these elaborate cemetery, tomb, monuments. You know, the word comes from ancient Greek, obviously, and these were separate burial sites away from cities because, you know, back in the day they didn't want to have the dead anywhere near the living because of disease and things like that. Perhaps unsurprisingly, they're pretty creepy, haunting looking places. Now, of course, this one is all the more interesting because it was located deep within Vatican City. Apparently it's filled with beautiful Roman mosaics and frescoes as well as marble boxes for the dead next to open graves. Now, like many of these ancient, crazy, secret places housed in the Vatican, this place was completely closed to the public until November 17th. They just opened. They have a new entrance called the St. Rose Gate. Like I said, it is now open for an exhibition called Life and Death in the Rome of the Caesars. And you can see, it seems that a lot of different types of people were buried here. You can see some very interesting photos from it here, from somebody's Twitter post. And apparently this place was first uncovered in 1956, and in 2003 they discovered that it was actually a good amount bigger than they originally thought. And the tombs therein are from the 1st to the 4th century AD. Now, as you can probably tell, nothing about this is necessarily overtly related to the occult or supernatural in any way, but when it comes to Vatican secrets and cities of the dead, that definitely seems like something the people that follow me would be interested in.
Okay.
I have to say that place is, you know, that place is creepy. That place looks creepy.
Found something interesting. This guy here is Semon Toko from Africa. And I'm going to play you a little clip, and hopefully you'll be able to hear this about what he's all about.
So the story goes that in the 1960s there was a black man in Africa who came in with abilities complementary to those of Jesus. And he was performing miracles. He was starting to get people to listen to what he had to say. And the cabal tried to kill him, and, you know, they could shoot him in the head and his skull would just regenerate and the flesh would grow back, and he was fine. And, you know, so the crazy story that I heard, which, and remember, I was told at the time that if I disclosed this, that I would be killed. And I ended up putting it in the book anyway.
This is David Wilcox.
The story was that this guy, you know, they finally said, okay, we're going to bring you to the United Nations and share your message with the world. Let's get you on this flight. They bring him on this flight, and instead of bringing him to the United Nations, they shot him repeatedly, and then actually had some kind of meat grinder device, and basically like a bandsaw, I guess, and sawed up his body into a whole bunch of pieces, put him in these very...
I don't think it was a pituitary disorder at all. There's just so much evidence, even evidence in images in the last few hundred years that we have. And none of them here look like they're suffering from a disorder. I think there are still giants today, though, even larger than what you see pictured here, hidden in remote regions throughout this world, and perhaps in lands beyond what we can explore. I believe we live side by side with them, and at one point, we had a falling out, either after or before the last reset. And after this falling out, I believe a lot of them that remained went into hiding, in seclusion. That's why you only hear about them in remote regions these days, like the Afghan giant that the U.S. troops allegedly engaged with. As they say, history is written by the victors. But as much as the Smithsonian, places like the Vatican, bury our true history, cracks form in their narrative daily. And that's thanks to people that's not afraid to question the narrative, not afraid to question everything. Because we know history is nothing more than a set of lies agreed upon, a set of lies they agreed upon. Until next time, friends.
Tell me what you guys think. Do you believe in giants? I, for one, actually do believe that there could have been giants on this earth. But I don't know. Tell me your thoughts down in the comment section below.
Little Azalea's experiment. Got some Burger King fries from the 6. They moldy as hell. Got some Arby fries from the 1st. Yow. Got some Royal Farms fries from just $12.17. We got some Popeye fries just from $12.17. Then we got some Pennsville Pizza Spot. Yeah, the mold is amazing. And then from December 1st, we got some McDonald's. Are you fucking kidding me? I saw this on TikTok. I didn't know it was real, but Azalea done figured, oh my God, you got to be kidding. Everything is molded, but Mickey D's on some old other level.
Be careful of what you guys are eating. These fast food things, you know, just be careful, be watchful of what you're putting into your body.
Every disease that I saw in my office over a period of, say, 10 years, had a dominant parasite involved. Remember, I was testing everybody for a set of parasites, about 70. I list all the parasites in the book, which ones I was testing for. And to my surprise, if you had diabetes, it'd be urethema, the pancreatic fluke. Pancreatic fluke. Diabetes is a disease of the pancreas.
What just happened in Miami? Well, people think aliens are involved. So around 9:30 p.m. on January 1st, over 60 police cars, 100 officers, and a few helicopters swarmed the Bayside Mall in downtown Miami and shut it down. The official story is that a brawl broke out between a large group of teenagers who were fighting each other with sticks and throwing fireworks. 4 teenagers wound up getting arrested, but people are wondering why was such a massive police presence needed for only arresting some kids. Some are starting to think that something else was going on. Since the incident, eyewitnesses have claimed that the brawl was a cover, and the truth is that 7 to 10 foot tall alien creatures showed up at the mall. People panicked and ran as the aliens apparently began attacking and cloaking like the Predator. Some interesting details are that the power was cut and restricted airspace was established above the mall, as well as the police scanner being shut down. And earlier today, a new video surfaced showing what appeared to be a strange figure moving around the area that people think was one of these aliens, although it's more likely just a couple people walking next to each other. Others have reported seeing black helicopters and a Men in Black presence as well, and other witnesses like this guy here are claiming there weren't even teens fighting at all, and this is some kind of cover-up, and posted an alleged picture of one of these aliens. So is this a brawl, aliens, or something else?
This is why I've said the dates that they are giving us are incorrect. We used to have 13 months, 28 days, and 1 day of rest, even in the Bible. So look, we have 13 lunar cycles of 28 days, 13 zodiac signs, every turtle shell you'll find, 13 sections in the middle, and 28 notches along the side, all to keep us disconnected from these natural cycles of our realm. Listen to David Strait explain it more.
Our calendar is not quite right. We're supposed to have 13 months of 28 days, with one day, the day of resurrection, Easter, as a neutral day. That's our 365 days. We've actually got 13 constellations, not 12. This same calendar is very close to the Mayan calendar, but it's also very close to several ancient Sanskrit calendars. What does sept mean? 7. I thought that was the 9th month. What does oct mean? What is...
If this warning doesn't send shockwaves through your body, I don't know what will.
Packs of Chinese males of military age, unattached to family groups, pretending not to speak English. These are probably saboteurs who are coming in on the first day of war with Asia. In Asia, I think that we're going to see acts of sabotage, assassinations, detonation of bombs, starting wildfires, and the Biden administration is paying no attention to this.
Just a real quick stupid question. Do you honestly believe that the Biden administration doesn't know what's happening in our southern border? Do you honestly think that they don't know? Okay, well, with that said, look at this article written by the Gatestone Institute International Policy Council. Written by Gordon G. Chang. There is now a Chinese invasion in the U.S. homeland. You can go look at this article. There is now China's shock troops. The concern is that on the first day of the war in Asia, they will take down America's power lines, poison reservoirs, assassinate officials, start wildfires, spread pathogens, and create terror by bombing shopping malls and supermarkets. The next war in Asia will almost certainly be fought in U.S. soil. Perhaps on the first day, unsuspected Americans will be in the fight. Are you kidding me? They're literally like putting this in our faces and we're still asleep. It's no longer a conspiracy theory, there's proof.
Paul McCartney is dead. Many people believe that the real Paul McCartney was killed in a car accident on November 9th, 1966, and that the band decided to cover up his death by using assistance from the British government. They did this by finding a lookalike by the name of William Campbell, who had previously entered a Beatles lookalike contest in '65. There are also many clues that point to the confirmation of this. The real Paul McCartney has different ears, is a different height, and even has a different eye color. Paul was also displayed very differently in the album covers. On Abbey Road, for example, he's the only one not wearing shoes, holding a cigarette, and the only one with his right foot forward instead of his left. During the Magical Mystery Tour, Paul is the only one seen with a black carnation instead of a red one. If you were to hold a mirror to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts, it reads 119, he died, and has an arrow pointing right at Paul, referencing November 9th. On the back of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts, Paul is the only one not facing forward, and Ringo is pointing to a lyric referencing the incident that reads, Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the day begins. And it just so happens that November 9th was a Wednesday. Even in the songs, there's also clues. If you play I'm So Tired backwards, you get this. Playing Strawberry Fields backwards, you also get this. Last but not least, Revolution 9 backwards, John is saying this. What do you believe?
Does somebody have a heart attack at the wheel?
For the past couple of weeks, there have been several videos of ships crashing into places, just like you see in the movie Leave the World Behind. But I guess that one of the creepiest and strangest videos of all is this one that I'm going to show you guys right now. Check this out.
Oh, they're gonna go right over them, dude. They're down. They're down. Hey!
Strange, right? There are divers down there. They can't get out of there. And, well, it's strange enough, but it gets even stranger.
There's nobody in there. There's nobody on deck. There's nobody in the wheelhouse.
We realized early in the process within social media that people react to before and after pictures. If you find a very ugly building in the city and then you go to the city archives, you might find a picture of what was there before. That's a very talking image in terms of what we used to have and what we have now. And that effect makes people angry because they realize they lost something they never knew.
I want to reiterate. What do you guys think? What is the reason why they changed the buildings to be these, monolithic structures which don't have any emotion? And, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below.
That appreciation today. I also convened my entire cabinet as part of a whole of government response. And that response is to increase the number and intensity of the extreme weather events and be wary we're going to use all the resources available to the government to do it.
Excuse me, what? Go back and listen to that again. Did you hear what dude just said? So somebody just tagged me in this post. Thank you for that. Yeah, he's reading that. Like, that's not just dumb. He's actually reading that.
Old buildings from the old world, the sacred buildings. They used to have these brass balls and they loaded them up with mercury and they put them real high up so that they could gather atmospheric energy, which is free energy. The higher you go up, the more energy that's up there. And they would run, for example, a copper wire down into their home, and they could use that if they wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home. A lot of this is never disclosed. For example, when we look at all of these things from the past, we start to look at a lot of things were about electrical conductivity. Look at that. They all look like conductors, right? Sacred buildings are looking like conductors. They're built like conductors. There's free energy right there. Free energy right there. But the thing is they changed all the history to make it look like everybody was fighting each other. It was medieval. People were going against each other. But in reality, I think the hidden history of the past is very different than what we've been taught.
How did we go from reading, writing, and arithmetic to this?
So we're so far from even making porn lit a requirement. But if you're asking what would I like to see done, I'd like to see pornography literacy be embedded and integrated in school environments, in middle school and high school. I would like to see parents unlearning all of the things that they have, been conditioned to believe around gender and sexuality and bodies, and agency, so that they can disrupt and be the generation of parents that creates and cultivates healthy, fully formed, fulfilled sexuality for their young people. And then those young people are getting sex ed so that they become, parents or the older generation of leaders that are continuing that sex positivity in our world. But that's a huge cultural shift, and that's a big ask.
That is a big ask. Groomer.